Hello everybody and welcome to Checkmate. My name is Nils and today I'm going to show you the first round of the Frankfurter Stadtmeisterschaft, which is a 7-round tournament in Germany. And we play a game of chess every Monday. It's a classical time format, so 90 minutes plus 30 seconds increment. And yeah, for my first game I played against Dr. Gerald Zimmer. He's a stronger opponent, so he has the FIDE Elo of 1900. I have around 1600, so he's rated 300 points above me, so a really strong opponent. And I had the white pieces and started off with the move e4. He went for e6, now d4, d5, knight c3, bishop e4, this is all pretty standard, e5, c5, just going for the, we now were advanced French variation, and now a3, attacking the bishop, bishop takes c3, b takes c3, and knight e7. And initially at this position I wanted to play h4, but yeah, I knew that h4 is the best move in the position because black has a kind of hard time just defending this whole king set with this pawn structure here. It's just harder for him to transfer pieces to the king side, and this is why h4 is also a good idea. Just going for h4, h5, get the knight and get the queen and attack with the bishop, for example, and go just for rapid development. But I felt like I wanted to go for something more solid, and I played knight f3, just going for solid development, and he went for knight b to c6. Now I made a small inaccuracy. I played bishop e5. He could have gone for c takes d5, c takes d4, excuse me. According to the engine, this is the best move, but he went for bishop d7, just unpinning the knight. Here I went for a4 because of some knight tactic. For example, if I just castle, you can go for knight takes e5. If I retake, then of course my bishop is hanging and also my rook is now attacked. And if I go for the bishop, then he can kind of come back with the knight, and the knight takes my bishop and has also gotten my pawn on the way back. So this is why I played a4, just to prevent this whole position, and we got queen a5, just going for my c3 pawn. And now I kind of was again scared of this whole knight stuff, and now also my pawn is hanging, so I went for bishop takes c6. However, there's a really disgusting engine line, which I will quickly show you, because I also thought that castling maybe was okay, because if I castle, I was afraid of knight takes e5. And now after knight takes e5, bishop takes b5, I cannot retake the bishop because my rook is hanging in the corner. But I can retake. And this is why engines are just so disgusting. I checked the game after I played it, and I went for this whole variation where I just castle here instead of, for example, going for bishop d2. And the engine told me that castling is the best move, and I just thought, why? And I went for this whole sequence, knight takes e5 again, knight takes e5, bishop takes, a takes, and queen takes a1. So I've sacrificed a rook. My pawn is up 3 points of material, but now the important move, queen f3, threatening some insane tactics on the king. So let's say he plays some neutral move like h6, then queen takes f7, king d8, queen takes e6, so mate is threatened, so the only move is king c7, then b6, my pawn is defended, so he cannot retake with the king, so a takes b6, queen takes e7 with check, now king c8, now we go for queen d7 with check, king b8, then I can sack the knight, and at the end of the day I have checkmate in the corner. So yeah, this is why this whole stuff works. So instead of a neutral move, you can go for f6, this is the best defense, but now the most important move, bishop h6, and I mean, what the hell? My rook is attacking his queen, my bishop is hanging, my knight is hanging, and what is going on? I mean, the computer says queen a1 is the best move, then I go for bishop takes g7, f takes e5, rook takes h8, queen takes c2, and bishop takes e5, and apparently white is better, even though we have the same material. The king is still in the center, cannot castle, and according to the engine, white is winning. And yeah, if you see this one in the real game and you can calculate 10 moves ahead, congratulations to you, I didn't see this. So instead of going for this castle idea, I went for bishop takes c6, just to take all these tactical ideas of him. And yeah, he retook with the bishop. And also, this bishop takes c6 was a new move in this position. Before that, castles was played and then rook e1. But here played a new move in the position, which is bishop takes c6, bishop takes c6, and bishop d2 just to defend my pawn. He went for castles. I castled, and now we have bishop takes a4. So I give up a pawn, but in my opinion, I just thought that he couldn't do that, because now I had some ideas of going for c4, maybe bishop g5, also just taking in the center and just applying more pressure to this bishop, because at the end of the day, this bishop is hanging and only the queen is the protector of this bishop. So if I get to the bishop as fast as possible, then I thought I could win it back. So I went for c4, attacking the queen. The only move was queen a6, and I felt like the queen is a bit more worse on the square because she can't go back that easily. And I played bishop g5, just attacking the knight, and we have rook f to e8. Now I played c takes d5. Best would have been to just first recapture here and then go for this takes, but I played takes first because I felt like my bishop is in the future restricting his knight better that way. And after knight takes d5, I played d takes c5. Now we had queen c4, just going for my pawn and also defending the bishop this way, so kind of a sideways defense. And in this position, I really felt uncomfortable, and I went for queen d4, just defending my weaknesses, also stepping out of this attack. And yeah, if queen takes, of course, then the bishop is hanging, so this is not possible. So yeah, he went for bishop b5, just threatening to maybe take here if I somehow move my rook. So I went for queen takes c4, bishop takes c4, and I played rook f to b1. Now pressuring his pawn here. So first h6, attacking my bishop, and I went for bishop d2. Now we have b5, just defending the pawn and cementing that bishop here, and I went for knight d4, just again attacking the pawn. We have a6 and now rook a5. He went for rook e to c8, and this is where I made a big mistake. I also was really low on time. I had like, I think 10 minutes, and I started to play really quickly. So I wanted to sort of play the clock game. He also had like 10 minutes on the clock, and this is why I immediately blitzed out c6. My idea was that this pawn is sort of protected right now because of my knight, and my knight cannot be taken or endangered in any way. But what I completely forgot is just that he can go for knight e7 and now attack my pawn. So I lose this pawn no matter what, and better would have been just to go for rook a1. And for example, he takes, I take, he takes, I take, and then we have this middle game. We have equal material, and according to the engine, this is holdable. But I wanted to go for a more, let's say, more complex idea. Played c6 and forgot this knight e7 move, which is completely stupid, because now after pawn c7, which I also played, he can just go back, knight e7, and if he takes here, his a6 pawn is protected. So I saw this and was just completely disgusted with myself. So I played rook b to a1, the only move that really just holds my game plan together. He played knight takes c7. I now went for rook b4 with the idea of trading off this knight and then going for his pawn, but here he completely shocked me, and I just saw the move and I immediately saw his idea. He played bishop d5, and this move looked so stupid to me because, let's say, after knight, what did I play? Bishop d6, he just played bishop b7, and now his pawn is just protected, and I was just seeing this and thought, I mean, this bishop is doing not the best job, but I mean, it's protecting the pawn and pressuring my king, and I just saw this and completely missed this in game. Yeah, so my next idea was just to go with knight b3 with the idea of challenging this bishop. But again, another move that I completely missed is just knight e8, going for my bishop as well and going for my pawn. And I saw this and I thought, why did I do this? I mean, why? Just why? So I just immediately knew I had to go back. Knight d4, protecting the pawn, and now he just took on d6. And this position, as interesting as it seems, as threatening as this pawn looks, it's completely losing for me. So in this position, he went for the move rook c5, defending his pawn. I went for knight takes b5, and now we had rook takes c2. And after rook takes c2, my knight is hanging, so I went for knight c7, attacking the rook, and we had rook d8. And my initial idea was to go for rook d1, but this is not working because after rook d1, he just takes on c7, and I cannot retake because of back rank mate. So this was really surprising to me that I also missed this completely. So instead of going for rook d1, I went for knight takes a6, at least winning that pawn. And after knight takes a6, he just retook on d6, going for my knight. And I played knight c5 now. Just rerouting and attacking the bishop. And he went for rook c6. Now I went for knight b3, just to protect this square here. But knight b3 unfortunately completely loses the game, and you're more than welcome just to find the winning move for black. There's a really elegant way to end the game, and my opponent, of course, found it. So yeah, we'll give you a couple of seconds. Yeah, so the move that my opponent played was rook 6 to c3. And initially, I didn't think that this move was as good as it now is at the end of the day, because I just thought that I couldn't defend this knight. But if I play something like rook 5 to a3, then just bishop d5, and yeah, I cannot defend the c1 square anymore. So I would have gotten into is maybe rook b1 just to defend the knight. But at the end of the day, I just get rook takes b3. Let's say rook takes b3, then just bishop takes, and I cannot retake because, of course, back rank mate. So yeah, I just saw this, and I made one last desperate move, just going for rook b5, but he just played bishop d5, and this is now, of course, completely losing. So after he played bishop d5, I immediately resigned, and yeah, congratulated him on this game. And yeah, why did I resign here? Let's say I play rook b8, king h7, maybe going for h4, just getting some breathing room, because if I try something else, I'm just losing as well, because I have to keep an eye on this c1 square, so h4 maybe, but then he can just take on b3, and after rook takes b3, bishop takes b3, I'm just down a pawn, and yeah, also a bishop. So this is why I resigned after bishop d5, and yeah, what did I learn from this game? I have to calculate better. Try not to focus that much on opening theory, because it really doesn't matter if if I'm not able to calculate quickly in the middle game or end game. And yeah, just keeping my cool was also my learning from this game. I will give you an analysis of the next round of the Frankfurter Stadtmeisterschaft, which is next Monday. So see you until then, and thank you for watching.